"I wanted to kill those who betrayed my father," said Juan Pablo Escobar, reflecting on the tumultuous legacy left by his infamous father. As the son of Pablo Escobar, he witnessed a world steeped in violence and betrayal. In this revealing journey, Juan Pablo shares the shocking truths about his father's enemies, the family betrayals that shattered their lives, and the profound lessons learned from a life intertwined with crime and chaos. Introduction to Pablo Escobar's legacy. Pablo Escobar's legacy is a multifaceted narrative that intertwines themes of violence, wealth, and philanthropy. As the notorious leader of the Medellin cartel, Escobar transformed the cocaine trade in the 1980s into a lucrative global enterprise, amassing an estimated $30 billion fortune. His reign was characterized by extreme brutality, including bombings, assassinations, and widespread corruption, which instilled fear across Colombia and beyond. Escobar's methods were ruthless. He was responsible for countless deaths, including those of law enforcement officials, political figures, and innocent civilians. Yet, paradoxically, many remember him as a Robin Hood-like figure who invested heavily in impoverished communities in Medellin, building schools and housing. This duality has sparked ongoing debates about his impact on Colombian society and the complexities of his character. Even decades after his death in 1993, Escobar's influence persists in popular culture, inspiring numerous documentaries, books, and even tourism centered around his life and crimes. Juan Pablo Escobar's early life and relationship with his father. Juan Pablo Escobar, born in 1977, grew up under the immense shadow of his father's notorious reputation. His early life was marked by a unique blend of privilege and fear.
We were the ones who killed Pablo Escobar, and if you ask the Colombian police, they will tell you we were the ones.
While he enjoyed a lavish lifestyle filled with luxury cars and private schooling, he was also acutely aware of the violent world surrounding him. The relationship between Juan Pablo and Pablo Escobar was complex. His father was both a loving parent and a feared criminal mastermind. Juan Pablo recalls moments of tenderness, family gatherings filled with laughter, alongside the harsh realities of living in constant danger. As he matured, he began to grapple with the moral implications of his father's choices and the broader consequences of their family's lifestyle. This internal conflict intensified after his father's death in 1993, when Juan Pablo adopted the name Sebastián Marroquín as part of his quest for identity separate from his father's legacy. He has since dedicated himself to promoting peace and sharing insights about the consequences of a life steeped in crime, using his platform to advocate for understanding and healing in a society still affected by violence. Chapter 3. The Betrayal. Who turned against Pablo Escobar? The betrayal that led to Pablo Escobar's downfall came from unexpected quarters within both his inner circle and external alliances. Initially supported by various factions within Colombia, including political figures who benefited from his wealth, Escobar found himself increasingly isolated as his violent tactics alienated even those who once stood by him. The emergence of the Cali cartel, comprised of former associates turned rivals, marked a significant turning point in this betrayal. Their alliance with Colombian authorities and US intelligence agencies aimed to dismantle Escobar's empire through coordinated efforts that included surveillance and targeted operations. Wait a second, have you ever considered how the legacy of someone like Pablo Escobar can impact future generations? Share your thoughts below. Additionally, former allies within the Medellin cartel began to turn against him out of fear or ambition for power. This shift culminated in the formation of groups like PEPES, which actively sought to eliminate him and his associates through violent means. The betrayal was not merely personal, it reflected a broader societal rejection of Escobar's reign of terror as Colombia sought to reclaim its sovereignty from drug-related violence. Juan Pablo's reaction to his father's death. Juan Pablo Escobar's reaction to his father's death on December 2, 1993, was an intricate blend of grief and relief. At just 16 years old, he faced overwhelming emotions while mourning the loss of his father. He also felt liberated from the suffocating fear that had defined their lives due to Escobar's criminal activities. The aftermath of this event thrust Juan Pablo into a tumultuous reality where he had to navigate life without the protection that came with being Escobar's son. He struggled with feelings of guilt regarding his father's legacy while grappling with societal rejection stemming from their family's notorious past. Over time, Juan Pablo transformed this pain into a mission for understanding and reconciliation. He chose to distance himself from the violence that characterized his father's life by advocating for peace and healing within Colombian society. Through public speaking engagements and written works, he has shared insights about the consequences of a life steeped in crime while emphasizing the importance of forgiveness over revenge, a powerful message rooted in his own journey towards self-discovery. The impact of violence on the Escobar family. The violence associated with Pablo Escobar profoundly affected not only Colombian society, but also left deep emotional scars on his family members. Growing up in an environment rife with threats and bloodshed created an atmosphere of constant fear for Juan Pablo and his relatives. They were often targets themselves due to their association with one of history's most notorious criminals. This reality forced them into hiding for years following Escobar's death, as they sought safety from retaliation or retribution from rivals. The pervasive violence led to emotional trauma that lingered long after they fled Colombia, for refuge in other countries like Germany and Argentina. As they navigated this tumultuous landscape, they faced challenges related to stigma and loss, while striving to redefine their lives away from their father's shadow. Many family members struggled with their identities amidst societal rejection. They were viewed through the lens of their father's crimes, rather than as individuals seeking redemption or change. Through these experiences, they became advocates for peace, emphasizing the need for healing in a society still grappling with the consequences of narco-terrorism while working toward a future free from violence. Hold on a moment. What do you think drives someone to choose forgiveness over revenge in the face of such deep betrayal? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Juan Pablo's decision against revenge. After the death of his father, Juan Pablo Escobar faced a pivotal moment that would shape his future. Initially consumed by anger and a desire for revenge, he vowed to retaliate against those he held responsible for Pablo Escobar's demise.
And I tell that I will never do anything to continue my father's steps, and that's the second threat, peace, and that's the only one that I didn't.
However, a life-threatening encounter with armed individuals forced him to confront the gravity of his intentions. With a gun pointed at his head, he realized that pursuing vengeance would only perpetuate the cycle of violence that had defined his father's life. This critical moment led him to choose a different path, one of peace and reconciliation. Juan Pablo understood that embodying his father's legacy of brutality would not honor his memory, but rather tarnish it further. Instead, he committed himself to promoting understanding and healing within Colombian society. By sharing his story and advocating against the drug trade, he aims to prevent future generations from repeating the mistakes of the past, emphasizing that true strength lies in forgiveness rather than revenge. Life after Escobar, struggles and challenges. Life after Pablo. Escobar was fraught with significant struggles and challenges for Juan Pablo and his family, following his father's death. They were thrust into a world of danger and uncertainty. The family faced constant threats from rival cartels and vigilante groups seeking retribution for Escobar's violent reign. To escape this perilous environment, Juan Pablo, along with his mother and sister, fled to Argentina, where they sought asylum. Adapting to life in a new country proved difficult. They had to navigate cultural differences while grappling with the stigma associated with their last name. Juan Pablo experienced feelings of isolation and guilt as he tried to distance himself from his father's notorious legacy. He also struggled with financial instability, as their wealth had been built on illicit activities that were now inaccessible. Through these challenges, Juan Pablo worked tirelessly to redefine his identity and find purpose beyond the shadow of his father's crimes. Seeking forgiveness, Juan Pablo's journey. Juan Pablo Escobar's journey toward forgiveness is both personal and profound. in the wake of his father's violent legacy. He felt an overwhelming sense of responsibility for the pain inflicted upon countless victims of drug-related violence. This realization motivated him to seek forgiveness from those affected by his father's actions. A pivotal moment occurred when he met with the sons of political figures assassinated by Escobar's orders. Their willingness to engage in dialogue profoundly impacted him. Just a quick question. How do you believe society can heal from the scars left by violence and crime? We'd love to hear your insights, comment below. They expressed that they bore no animosity towards him, recognizing that he was not responsible for his father's choices. This experience taught Juan Pablo that forgiveness is essential for healing, not just for victims, but also for perpetrators seeking redemption. He has since dedicated himself to promoting peace in Colombia through public speaking and writing, sharing his story as a cautionary tale about the consequences of violence and the importance of understanding and compassion in overcoming past grievances. Juan Pablo's message to the world. Juan Pablo Escobar has emerged as a powerful voice advocating for peace and understanding, drawing lessons from his tumultuous past. His experiences have taught him that violence begets more violence. Thus, breaking this cycle is crucial for societal healing. In his public engagements, he emphasizes the importance of recognizing our shared humanity rather than allowing hatred or revenge to dictate our actions. Juan Pablo aims to inspire young people by sharing stories about the consequences of drug trafficking and violence, urging them to choose paths that promote reconciliation instead of conflict. He believes that education is key in preventing future generations from following in his father's footsteps. By openly discussing his family's history, he hopes to foster dialogue around forgiveness and healing within communities affected by narco-terrorism. His message resonates globally. True strength lies not in vengeance but in compassion, understanding, and working together towards a more peaceful future for all. Before we move on, what lessons do you think we can learn from Juan Pablo Escobar's journey toward peace? Share your thoughts with us in the comments. His journey from a life shadowed by violence to one seeking peace serves as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest circumstances, there is always a path toward healing. Thank you for joining us in exploring this captivating story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing insights.